All right. It is March 10th, 2021. Welcome to the Dish, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, Teri Knight, my co-host.
Hey, Mark Taylor, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good.
So we just kind of discussed the world affairs going on here in the last few minutes prior to starting our podcast. But life is
Yes.
weird right now, as Teri and I were discussing. So
Yeah,
hopefully our crazy little podcast brings a little laugh to your life.
absolutely.
Even
That's
though it's
that's no,
it's serious
it's
though,
serious
Teri.
business.
It's very
It's
serious
true. Oh,
business,
yeah,
of course.
very serious
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
And that's why you got the new light behind you.
Check this out to our
That's pretty
Facebook
awesome.
watchers and YouTube watchers. The new on-air sign at Soapdish.
You are so professional.
Yeah, right. We're getting there in another 5 years or so, Terry.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good enough for me.
All right. So let's start with the first storyline that we should discuss.
Yes.
All right. Is Carter playing with fire with this whole continued carrying on with Paris? Paris is just relentless with Carter.
She really is. And I am so not into those two at all. I mean, there's just no I don't know why they keep pushing this storyline. Maybe there's somebody else. Hey, Facebook people, if you know why or you think this is a good storyline, let us know because I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do certainly like to see Carter, but I mean, come on.
You call him the beefcake.
Pretty much. Well, he's starting to burst through his shirts now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I get it, Terry, but also, I mean, he's kind of without his shirt like 90% of the time now. You notice that?
yes, really. Yeah, I
Oh,
think I
you
did notice
you
that.
hadn't noticed. Okay.
No, of course not.
All right. So
But
we
yeah,
got sidetracked.
yes, we did.
So Paris went over to Carter's house here. I think it was like yesterday and part of today's episode. And I put in the agenda.
Hmm.
He ends up giving in to Paris's wishes, and boom.
Boom is right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
they were, yep, again and again
and
from
again,
the looks of things.
yep,
Yep.
yep, yep,
So,
yep.
well,
It's good to be
God bless
young,
them.
Terry.
It certainly is.
All right. So
Yeah.
meanwhile, Mom Grace Buckingham
Hmm.
is at Forrester Creations trying to convince Zende, you need to make a move on Paris, or it's going to be too late.
And she said something today about she can guarantee that
Yeah.
Paris is going to say yes. And I'm thinking
Where's that coming from? Did I miss something, or is that just her wishful
that
thinking?
that I think that's her wishful thinking.
Okay.
And I don't I yeah, I may have a couple of predictions about that, but
Okay.
anyway, yeah, weird, weird, weird.
Hmm.
And they're madly in love now.
They're madly in love. That's what we found out today. Yeah. So Paris revealed to Carter that she loves him, and then he turns around and says, "Oh, I love you too." And I thought, "Oh,
Yeah.
what a sweet moment." Brought a te-
I don't
brought a
believe you
tear to
for a
my
second.
eye.
Oh, if I here, I
If,
think I've got a
can
tissue.
you get tissues
Hang
from
on.
Northfield, Minnesota to Broughton, Minnesota?
I'm trying. There we
Oh,
go.
there.
I forget where the camera's at.
I know.
Okay,
It's always the
anyway.
opposite of what you think.
It's weird,
Yeah.
I
It's a
guess.
weird thing.
Yeah.
All right, so that's interesting, as you said, that conversation
Hmm.
between Mom, I call her Mom Grace Buckingham, but interesting. Anyway, meanwhile,
Yes.
back at Carter's apartment,
Yes.
Paris is, and you've already mentioned this, Terry, but Paris is telling Carter she loves him. Carter returns the sentiment. Within a few seconds or a minute or so after that, Grace, Mom Buckingham, shows up at the apartment door and they are both there. So we kind of left a little bit hanging. Tomorrow, Friday, I guess we'll find out where this goes. I think it's going to be interesting, super interesting.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if Paris will stand up to her mother, or Carter will. That will be interesting. I'm very curious to see what that's going to look like.
Do you have something
But I
in
have a
predictions
feeling
on that too, Terry?
could be.
Okay, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no, no. Let's
Okay,
keep
all
rolling.
right. So my question for you before we move on to the next storyline is, oh, Terry, when does Dr. Buckingham ever practice medicine?
Well, let's see. Maybe the same time that
Well, I mean,
they
it's,
design dresses.
I was going to
I
say,
don't know.
I was going to say, we could say the same about Ridge. We could say the same about, several people here.
Yes.
So
Uh-huh.
anyway, the thought just crossed my mind as I keep watching her meddle in the kids' affairs here.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so let's talk about the next storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas and Sheila had frank discussions after, and you and I kind of predicted this. And she couldn't help herself that she had to tell somebody. She's just too dang proud of the fact that she wanted to take credit for switching the champagne bottles or the labels on the bottles and Brooke getting drunk.
Well, and the way that came about with Thomas telling her to get out of there, out of Steffi's place, um, she almost had to tell him.
True.
But I've got predictions about
Okay.
that,
All right.
so
All
maybe
right.
I'll hold off on
You're gonna
that for a
hold
little
off on
bit.
that thought. Okay.
Hmm.
Anyway, then
It, d-
he comes back a second time because it's bother. Thomas does comes back a second time
mhm.
because it's really bothering him to Sheila, and then she reveals how she did it. Right, how she switched the labels, all that. So now Thomas is actually believing her.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and I gotta give him credit. He seems to feel
he does.
bad for Brooke.
He does.
He and I like too that they are talking about the alcoholism and what a horrible thing that is to do to somebody that's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I thought that's a classy move on their part.
Yes, I agree with you, Terry. I was thinking the same thing as I was watching it because, and the one thing I will give these writers credit for, and you and I have talked about this before, but they do a pretty dang good job of tackling the social issues or the real life issues that people go through and struggles they have, and I commend them for that as well.
Yeah, I do too. I like that.
Yep.
That's why I don't want to see Deacon go off the deep end. I want to see him stay a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And like you said, the other thing is with Thomas is kudos to him because he seems to have developed a moral compass. I mean, when you think about how whacked out he used to be, I
oh,
mean, it's pretty crazy.
yeah, yeah, that whole mannequin thing was,
That was strange. And even before
yes,
that, yeah, yeah.
no,
So,
definitely. Hmm.
all right. So Thomas, I think is going to. Well, I'm going to leave that for predictions too, Terry, because that's
Okay.
kind of a thought prediction there. So let's discuss the other kind of the other large storyline, and that is Ridge goes over to Brooks and tells her that she'll always be in his thoughts, and he always love her, care about her.
Hmm.
Surprise you?
Not really. No, because I think um, based on the acting too, the way they did it and the way that rolled out, I thought um, it seemed very genuine, and um, it didn't surprise me because he cares. He gets so ballistic
Mm-hmm.
with the personality of Ridge, but he clearly still loves her, but
Right,
he
and
wants the safe place with
yeah,
Taylor.
and that's from a writing and acting standpoint, I think that point has been abundantly clear. is because when he's with Taylor, you can see he loves her, he cares about her, but it's not the same.
Passionate.
Yeah, it's not the same kind of love.
No,
Yeah,
it's
so,
not.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this next part of this scene kind of surprised me today, and that is Brooke shockingly tells Ridge that she's going to let him go.
I was definitely shocked by that, and it was an impressive scene.
Oh, I
They
agree.
did an amazing job of acting,
I agree.
and because
You
you
could
could
feel
really
it.
feel it and empathize,
Yep,
and so that was impressive.
I agree.
Again, the writers
That was well
that was
done.
good stuff.
And
Hmm.
like you said, her Brooke and his as well, but Brooke's acting and the emotion that she showed as she was going through it, like it kills me to say this, but I'm gonna let you go, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna give you a divorce, and then at the end they embrace. And she's telling Ridge how much she loves him and always will, kind of thing. And I wrote
Hmm.
in our notes as well, great acting job on both of their parts, but particularly Brooke.
Yeah, I thought so too. That was impressive.
Well done.
Sorry if I don't know if you heard that beeping. Sorry
Nope,
about
I
that.
did not.
Okay, good.
All right, let's move into predictions, Terry.
Okay.
Would you like to start or shall I?
Why don't you start?
All right. I've got a I've got kind of a bombshell to drop today. It's kind of a something found by the research department, but I'm going to take credit for it as a prediction
Okay.
because that's
All
what I
right.
do.
Well, you're paying them.
I'm paying them. If you knew how much, it's a little crazy.
I'll bet.
So the research department at Soapdish discovered that one of the assistant writers has leaked or is hinting to a big jaw-dropping storyline that's coming up on The Bold and Beautiful. And he's saying that it may or likely involves Taylor. So I'm going to make a prediction out of that. And that is because well, not I, the research also department found something earlier about
Oh, Phoebe?
Phoebe, who's Steffi's twin sister, who died
Hmm.
10 years ago on The Bold and Beautiful.
Yes.
I am going to predict that Phoebe is going to make a return to the Bold, that she's not dead, and we've seen this before, Terry. She's not dead, and I am going to predict that Steffi is going to play both roles. The current Steffi. Yeah.
Really?
She will
Wow.
play the role of Phoebe and Steffi. I forget her
Man,
name,
that,
Jacqueline. I should
yeah,
remember. But anyway,
I get
yeah,
her name too. Whew, that is sudsy.
that is sudsy, and we have a great research department to back that up.
Man, I don't think I've got anything to top that.
Uh,
Phew. Well, all right. Is that it, or do you have
I might
another
have
one?
another, but go ahead. I want to hear
Okay,
yours.
so I'll jump in with this one.
Okay.
Sheila is definitely going to exact payment from Thomas,
Mm.
um, because the whole reason that she really told him, basically, aside from her being impressed with her own ingenuity,
And batshit
uh,
crazy.
yeah, she's crazy, is that she wants entrance into Steffi and Finn and
Ultimate goal.
access
Yep.
to Hayes. So she's going to make Thomas start pushing Steffi to let Sheila in. But I think because Steffi's been such a biatch lately that she's going to push back until Thomas is going to tell Steffi the truth.
Mm. I like
Now,
that.
what are they going to do?
That's sudsy.
Because, thank you. So there you go.
Wow. That's a good
Wow.
storyline if that comes to pass.
Yes, I think so, but we'll see. I don't have a research department.
I
You're the
know.
one that has that.
I know.
So what do I know?
Pick up the
So
phone,
what else
Terry. You
do you
can always
have?
call
Oh, okay.
them.
Thanks.
All right. So the other thing I'm going to predict is that I'm going to predict something along the line of the Grace Buckingham storyline, and that is, I think it hits the fan tomorrow. I think here's what I think happens. Carter comes to the door. She kind of hides out in the background. Paris, and Mom starts threatening Carter again about you drop him. Did you drop her? Did you do this? And then Paris is going to flip out and come out to the door, and then there's going to be a big confrontation.
Ooh. And
And I could take it further, but I'm going to leave it at that for now because I think it's going to go beyond that. But I think that's another discussion for another day.
oh, wow. Whew. All right. And there you go. I was just thinking that um Zoe was going to come back, but I think I'd mentioned that before.
That could
And
happen yet, though.
yeah, and maybe there will be a fight.
Ooh, cat fight.
Okay.
I like now that we have video, we can actually do stuff like this.
Yeah, I know. It is different,
It
isn't
is
it?
weird, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yep. So,
All right.
anything else, Terry, before we close?
I don't think so. Those are some big predictions.
We're bold
We'll
here
see.
at the Soapdish Studios,
Oh, and beautiful.
and beautiful.
Whatever. Okay. Oh, keep it sudsy.